Welcome, welcome. We are at the end of this lovely weekend, heading into next week. And so, welcome to Blood Moon Oracles. This is going to be a reading of the energy reading into next week for all signs. And we're going to start with our zodiac season of Aries. Aries, you are up. So we're going to start with the fire signs first. Take a look, like, share, comment, subscribe if you have not. Let us know what type of readings you'd like to see. Would be fine too. You can definitely email me if you want to stop by, send a message, and you don't necessarily want a message down below. You can do that here at ladyspeak@gmail.com or just to say hello. All right. So Aries, you are up first. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Aries, how are you doing? We're going to take a look for you, Aries, and see the energy over the next 7 days for Aries. Please and thank you, Spirit. All right. For Aries, I hope you guys are well. I hope you got some rest this weekend. Got some me time in. Got some connection time in, right? For Aries over this next week, Spirit. What can we expect for Aries over the next week? For Aries over the next week. For Aries over the next week. And so for you, Aries, it looks like the space will be definitely one where things are happening for you. I don't know if there's things that you've been waiting for. Those things will be unfolding next week, or it could be information you've been waiting to come in. I do see that being given to you on this week coming up. If this is in the form of you expecting something back, for something that you put out, something that you've done, I do see that coming in. I see your environment being really reciprocative. And so what you put in this week, understand that you'll get that back, right? And so the energy of your environment is very it's mirroring you. And so if you know that that's the energy that you're around, this might be an opportune time to even take advantage of this. It feels like luck, right? That you'll be in. Your environment feels very lucky this week. And so this might be a time to give a little more because you may be getting a little more back, right? But I do see for those of you that may have been waiting for information or for something specific, I see that actually coming in this week. That'll be showing up for you this week. And this week, you'll be particularly focused on building some skill. You'll be particularly, for some of you, focused on your spiritual connection with yourself. There's something about being able to move in a way, possibly make decisions and trusting the decisions that you'll be making this week. I don't know if there's going to be something that caused you to double back or take a closer look at the decisions you're making, but I feel like this week is going to be you focusing on trusting yourself and whatever it is that you're needing to do this week. I also see, as I said, skills, focusing on some type of skill building. For some of you, you could be connecting or doing something specific within a community dynamic. And for some of you, there may be some type of celebration that you'll be attending this week, specifically for you, Aries. Of course, this is your season. This could have something to do with you. There may be some type of celebration happening for you. And I hope I'm not spoiling something for you. It could be like a surprise celebration from the community that you belong to. I hope I'm not spoiling that for anyone, but I do see that coming in for you. And but it feels like you know about this. This could actually be something that you know about. If it is supposed to be a surprise for some of y'all, you know about it. Yeah. And so I do see some opportunities to build on something new, some new skills this week. And whatever this is, there's going to be some challenges around that. But I feel like this challenge is actually going to kick up your abilities to perform, your abilities to meet the challenge with the chariot coming out. It's almost like you're going to be tapping into your superpowers, like for lack of words, whatever this challenge is going to kick into um, you really tapping into your abilities intentionally and kicking it up a notch in that way. I do feel like there's going to be things that test your patience, even though you seem to be very mature in your emotions. You're not easily um, triggered, right? But it almost feels like there's going to possibly be some things or someone that's going to try to push your buttons this week just to see exactly how healed you are or how mature emotionally you are. The judgment is coming out here and the 9 of Cups. There may be something that is coming back from the future, something being resurrected from the future, that's going to inform you in some type of way. Whatever this is that's coming back from the future is going to give you some type of understanding about yourself or about the situation. It's coming back up again. Something's being brought back up from the past this week. And then I don't know if it's that you are just going to be tested when it comes to your faith, right? In provision. But I do feel that there's something about you possibly being challenged about having some need met, or maybe not feeling like you have the right elements for what you want to do, or just not having enough. There's going to be challenges around feeling like you have enough. But in fact, you do. You have more than enough here. But there's something that comes up this week that causes you to kind of double take on whether or not you have enough. Doesn't have to be money. It could be enough support. It could be enough, you know, food for the week. It could be enough patience, right? But in fact, you do. You have an abundance of it, more than you need, actually. All right, we have the 8 of Pentacles, the World, and the 4 of Swords coming out. And so this week is you're going to find lots of time that you didn't plan that pops up for you to actually take some time for yourself this week. Yeah. I do see some things or something in particular coming to a halt. You may find yourself closing out old cycles or closing out relationships this week. But whatever it is, you're entering this week not realizing that this is coming to a close this week. And with that close, I do feel like there's going to be new beginnings that open up. So you may find yourself starting something new this week. It could be a new routine. Maybe you have reached the capacity in your routine and it's no longer effective. And so you are scratching that and starting a whole new routine. because it has something to do with the work. It could be like a workout. It could be even a job with the Eight of Pentacles. It's something that where you're exerting some type of work towards this, some energy, putting in work towards this. I do feel like it could be like a workout that's being renewed this week. It could be a job for some of you. You could be scratching a plan that you had and revamping the plan. But going into the week, you're not knowing that you're going to change this, right? This is going to happen on a whim or unexpectedly. What else for Aries this week? What else for Aries this week? Yeah, and so this week is going to really be about beginning something new for some of you. It's also going to be with you getting more clarity, more specific, and even with these tests coming in, both from yourself and possibly from others testing, your emotional maturity. There's going to be like a sharpening of your awareness, a sharpening of you even knowing yourself even better. And it may end with you feeling like you need to stop and reassess some things. Yeah. So this week is going to be a week where I do feel like there's going to be some tapping into yourself. You may be learning some things about yourself that maybe you just didn't realize. Maybe some things that you took for granted, you'll realize that you have, especially when it comes to things like just trusting yourself, trusting decisions that you're making this week, trusting your abilities, trusting that that you have more than enough to do what you have to do. This week is going to have lots of moments to stop and think. You may be doing some introspection this week so that you can come to that clarity. Let's grab a couple of oracle cards for you, Aries. I do feel like this is going to be a growing week for you. Just when we feel like we have made a milestone and we've grown and, we've reached a plateau where we're like really comfortable with where we are, Spirit will bring things in, people in just to keep us growing, right? I figured that out. But we have the Chess Queen, Trust and Strategizing for your Oracle card, the High Lord of Gratitude and Service, and the Wise Woman of Wonderland. And these cards do say woman, Lord, Queen, but it really is energy. Like when we're talking about the trust and the strategizing coming in with the Chess Queen, this is all about this Queen of Swords energy that you end the week in with more clarity, even more control over your situation because you're not being led by your emotions, being caught off guard and being triggered and just reacting on a whim emotionally. I feel like this week is an opportunity for you to get really clear and even sharpen those areas that I feel you're already strong at. I do feel like there's going to be testing coming in this week just to see, right? I felt that energy of someone testing you just to see if you're really healed or just to see if you're really emotionally mature. And so there's going to be some trusting, right? As we were saying with the High Priestess, trusting in yourself, trusting in what you're feeling, right? If you feel like somebody's playing with your emotions this week, chances are they probably are. But whether they are or not, what really matters here is your response. That is mature and not emotional, but it's a strategized response. With a high Lord of gratitude and service, this is an opportunity this week to be, um, more empathetic and more compassionate as well. As we look on this card, this looks like a yogi, right? This is somebody who is very disciplined spiritually and who has learned to release their ego. Because of that, they carry this very enlightened energy with humility, and they're very aware of, the decisions that they make. And in many ways, they become very selfless, right? And so there's something about this energy that you may find, yourself in this week. And it has everything to do with the wise woman of Wonderland, talking about understanding your position, maybe a very privileged position, even as you're looking around, examining and trying to see if you actually have what you need this week. You're going to realize that you're in a very privileged position. And along with, privilege comes a high level of responsibility. So there's something about integrity um, that you will be confronting this week and not compromising that. Okay. It does feel like somebody's going to test your patience this week, but I do feel like you'll pass with flying colors simply because I feel like I'm talking to someone who's really tapped into who they are. And this is not their first time around the rodeo. And so that's what I have for you, Aries. Happy birthday. I know many of you are celebrating all month long. I hope you're doing it big and celebrating this year around the sun. Okay. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, Aries. All right. Next, we're going to go ahead and go with Leo. We're going to start with the fire signs. Leo, how are we doing, Leo? Welcome to Blood Moon Oracle. Like, share, comment. If you have not, and this is your first time passing through, consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, also consider hitting the bell so you'll be notified whenever we do post videos like this or go live, okay? So for Leo spirit, let's take a look and see over this next week what type of energy Leo will be experiencing for Leo. For Leo. For Leo. So we have the Nine of Wands, the Five of Pentacles, and the Three of Pentacles. So for someone, I do feel like that there's going to be the energy of expecting. It almost feels like some compensation of some kind from possibly work that you've done or energy that you've put out, maybe even something that you've invested in. There's going to be some expectation or something being brought in this week. Doesn't always mean it has to be money. It could be something else, right? There's going to be some type of compensation that's expected, or there's some expecting it to come this week. I also feel like this is going to be a week where there's going to be a lot of rewards for the work that you're doing. And this might come in the form of you actually reaching a little bit higher, doing something different, expanding your abilities in some type of way to get something more than what you've been getting. It's almost like you're reaching right? Maybe outside of your normal range of operation to get or receive something a little extra this week. Okay. There's something about the way that you're thinking around compensation is changing this week. Or expecting. I also have the Justice, the Six of Cups, and the Lovers. The Justice, the Six of Cups, and the Lovers. Yeah. And so there's something that you are, like I was saying, this is reiterating that energy again. I don't know if there is something, and it doesn't necessarily have to be money. There's like something that's being given, or there's something that is expecting, that you are expecting this week in a form of compensation. Feels like the Justice comes out. That makes me feel like something is happening this week, um, that you're expecting to come in to kind of balance out, maybe something that has already been given or done. You're expecting that, and your mind is on that. Some balance that needs to happen with the Six of Cups as well. This is looking to the past about something being balanced. This may be something that you've been worried about, and when this comes in, then you'll be settled. The Lovers gives that energy as well, balance, right? Some balance coming in. There also could be some specific decisions, very significant decisions that will be on your mind this week, that you'll be really diving deep to decide. It doesn't feel like a lightweight decision. It feels like something that you may take really seriously. Whatever you're deciding, it's heavy decisions this week. And so your mind is going to be set on receiving something you've been expecting and just making really heavy level decisions this week. I almost get the energy of like expectation. You've been expecting something for a while. I don't know if it's through the mail, expecting something to come through the mail, expecting some message, expecting some package, some payment. Um, but that's what I'm getting here. And so this week for you, Leo, I do feel like there's going to be, um, I don't know if you'll be questioning what it is that you are feeling, if you're going to be questioning what it is that you'll be hearing, um, questioning your decision. There's something about trusting yourself that comes in um, this week as being something that you'll be dealing with and wrestling with. It could absolutely be around your relationships and connections. It could also be around your decisions that you'll be making this week. It seems like there's something that's really heavy on the line this week that has you really walking carefully and being very conscious of what's happening and how you're perceiving that, right? There's something about needing to trust yourself and something about the first decision being the right one is what I'm hearing. What you thought first, and then you went back and second guess. Usually it's the first decision that's the right one. But this is all about just trusting yourself. This is going to come in this week and kind of stir things up. I don't know if this is you deciding on whether or not to take some kind of offer for a new beginning. I do feel like Spirit is trying to introduce like some type of gift. There's something Spirit is trying to give you, but there's some difficulty in deciding about this or receiving this. So, what is this for Leo that's coming in as a difficulty this week? Just having a difficulty receiving it. You're having a difficulty receiving something this week and feeling very anxious about it. The Nine of Swords and the Ten of Cups. Um, yeah. Let's keep going for Leo. Coming out in your own reading as the Leo. I feel like overall, you really do kind of drop down into your energy and just take courage. I feel like at some point you're just like, okay, it is what it is. The strength is like having courage to do what needs to be done. And I feel like in deciding this is like you realizing that there is no wrong decision. You just take on what comes, make a decision, take on what comes, and just do what needs to be done. Because the strength is giving me the energy of just standing in courage and just doing it, just deciding to do it. So there may be a moment this week when you're feeling this anxiousness around decisions where you're just like, okay, let's just do what we need to do. Drop down into, you know, the energy that you are believing in yourself to make the right decision and just decide. I almost get the energy of also being willing to take the opportunity to handle more than one thing, right? This may not be even deciding one, this is taking on more responsibility and just juggling more, right? Piling on more on your plate. There's some information that comes in this week as well, that's going to give you more clarity, right, in your situation. And so I do feel like Spirit is also saying to be careful, even as you're, piling more on your plate, not to overdo it, right? To also consider your limits with time and resources and energy, right? The Two of Pentacles kind of has a little bit of concern about that, taking on too much, more than you can handle, and then ending up like overwhelmed. Just be careful of that energy because these opportunities coming in are beautiful, but also take them with the reality of what you can handle in mind as well. We have the Ace of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles. Dang, Leo. So first of all, let me say you have gotten three of the aces. So Spirit is really positioning you this week. There's a lot that's happening for you this week. The Ace of Cups, the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles. Lots that's happening this week. Spirit is offering you a lot of things this week, a lot of new beginnings. That's being uncovered this week. And so you end the week actually finding out about all of this that's available to you that maybe you didn't realize at the beginning of the week. By the end of the week, it's going to look totally different. Your mind around what's happening, your situation is going to look totally different. The whole perception of what's going on is going to be totally different by the end of the week than what it looked like when you started the week. And I do feel like it has a lot to do with your wealth, your stability. Because Pentacles is all about the physical aspects of living, like resources, finances, physical health. And there's something about you ending the week with more than you started the week with. The 10 of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles, very abundant energy. And so there's something that's going to transpire this week for you that's going to place you in a much more lucrative position than you started the week, Leo. Okay. And with all these aces coming at you, yeah, I feel like these are gifts, these are offers coming in towards you. That spirit is opening up for you. Let's see what the oracle message is for you. What do we have for Leo here? So we have the Shadow Queen, the Camel Boy, and the Dream Walker. So first of all, if there's anything that makes you feel like a little bit unsure, Spirit is saying get the information, right? Acquire the information needed with the Shadow Queen here. This is dealing with receiving, information and knowledge. And so be informed. If there's anything that comes in that makes you feel unsure, that's the solution, is to get more information so you can clarify the decision that you want to make. Also, Camel Boy is understanding the value of just taking your time, right? Taking small steps, not feeling like you need to jump from A to Z, but going from A to B to C to D. It's more timely and it seems slower, but what's happening is a more solid foundation is being built. Like as you are putting things together slowly and taking the time to look at different areas that aren't solid, it's going to give you more time to fill in those details and to correct things as you're moving forward. And so Spirit is saying small steps are an advantage here, whatever that means. And then also not to be afraid to ask when you need something. The Dream Walker comes in talking about dreams, okay? This is all about, I don't know if I have some dreamers in the house, but there's something about dreams here. And something about having the idea of something that's going to be not just for you or not just for one person, but there's something that is being visualized that's going to be good for a group, good for a collective, right? The perspective of this dream being given or that's being dreamed or being worked on is something that's going to be good, not from a personal perspective, but it's going to be for a collective. I don't know if you're being given a dream, or if you've been dreaming about doing something that's going to benefit a collective that's coming through here. Or maybe that's a question that you had, right? Yeah. And so that's what's coming out here for you, Leo, on this next week. All righty. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's always a pleasure to read for you. Like, share, comment. Let me know how it resonates, okay? And I just hear Spirit saying, go with your first choice. Like, don't overthink it. Just trust yourself, okay? Get knowledge as much as you can, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it, okay? Thanks, Leo. I'll see you next time. Bye. Sagittarius. Hi, Saggies. Welcome to Blood Moon Oracle. We're going to take a look at the energies coming in for you over the next 7 days, okay? I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. It was a beautiful one. All that sun. Oh, it's been so nice. I've loved it. And I hope you have too. So for Sagittarius, like, share, comment, Saggy. Welcome to Blood Moon Oracle. Let's take a look at the energies coming in for you over the next 7 days. For Sagittarius, what do we have here? Over the next 7 days. So over this next 7 days, Sagittarius, I feel like it may feel a little bit territorial for you. And it could be because you feel or you are aware of some type of monitoring happening. I do feel like for you, there is the knowledge or the suspicion of being monitored or observed in some type of way. And so you've kind of created kind of like a protective barrier around your environment. So it feels very protected and but open. It's protected but open for information to come in. And I feel like upon this realization, this energy is placed around you on this next week. There's some clarity around your environment coming in, like you may be aware of something that may present some kind of danger. And so be careful this week because your environment does need to be protected. There's something here about that. Now, this week for you is going to be one that is going to be in search of, I feel like mentally you are going to be focused this week, excuse me, on exhaling in some way. It feels like you are very focused and connected on moving forward and achievement, goal oriented energy, seeking answers, possibly to problems that you have, and being in the energy of stopping to make sure that everything is in place before moving forward. And so the energy, your focus this week is really going to be around yourself. It doesn't feel like a lot of outward focus. You feel like you are very focused and committed and almost like you're on a grind. You have a goal to meet and everything is aimed towards that goal, whether it's problem solving, whether it is checks and balances before you're moving forward. You seem very goal oriented this week. Some of you may, in fact, be doing some type of fasting and praying. You could be doing some type of restricting yourself while you're seeking like a deeper level of connection spiritually. But there's some desire I feel like you're focused on that's driving you forward this week. Spirit may actually be directing you towards a whole new direction this week. And this is going to require for you to, whatever your comfort zone is, for you to step out of it and embrace this new direction. I do feel like Spirit is directing you towards what it is that you desire, even though you may not see it. There's something coming in regards to you actually turning your attention in another direction that's going to come in as a challenge. It also could be because you are so intently focused on the path that you are directing yourself towards right now. But there may be a pivot that Spirit is going to bring your direction that may come in as a challenge here with the Fool, the Strength, and the Sun. This may come in as a challenge as well because it seems very unlikely that it's something that you would do. It's going to take a little bit of courage and self-belief for you to do this. And it's going to take a little bit of faith as well. And trust in Spirit, that Spirit actually has your best interest at heart in asking you to do this. Let's see what this is for Saggy. What is this for Sagittarius? It may be ending something or stopping something or not. It almost feels like taking a break or stopping something. The work, whatever it is you've been focusing on, you may be being asked to take a break or stop this week. For some type of reason. Not sure what that is. Let's keep going. This may be a pivot, as I was saying, not necessarily stopping altogether, but kind of like a redirection. Let's see. What is it that you don't see this week? Let's take a look. What is it that Sagittarius doesn't see this week? Possibly some type of guidance coming in from a mentor. Someone who offers some bit of instruction. Someone may be giving you some instruction, like a coach or a mentor of some kind. I don't feel like you'll be short of energy this week. You'll have lots of energy. But it's all about, you may have energy coming up this week that you didn't expect. And so this is going to be an opportunity to use that energy, possibly even to get ahead on things. If there are things that you've fallen behind on with your responsibilities, to kind of bring them back into, back into perspective, back into order, right? And so this week, there's going to be a lot of opportunities, I believe, to bring order back into your life. If you've fallen behind with things, this week is going to provide an opportunity to catch up, or maybe even turn your focus to other things that you've like left on the side for a while. There's something about a lot of energy coming through, but using it wisely, using it responsibly. And this may, in fact, be advice you're being given by a coach or an advisor, somebody that plays a role of guidance for you. It could be your spirit guides, or you getting downloads about this. This week feels like it's not going to play out exactly the way that you thought it would. That's what it feels like. There's something about feeling the energy of being restricted, but it's not that. This energy that you are going to perceive as restriction is actually going to open up, and provide success in what it is that you've been trying to do. I have the Eight of Wands, the Eight of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Page of Wands. There's possibly something that you have been working on or attempting, and I get the energy of it's possibly that the way that you've been trying to accomplish it, there is another way. And that way may come in this week. Spirit may provide the information for that this week and trying a different way. Something about pivoting that's going to bring success and victory with what it is that you've been trying to do. And the ability for you to actually move forward in what it is that you've been trying to do. Okay. Maybe even create another option. Let's see. What is the oracle messages for Sagittarius? You do feel very focused this week, Saggy. Nose to the grind. What are the oracle messages for Saggy? Oracle messages for Saggy. I have the Lady of the Lightning, the Web Weaver, and the Horse King. So first of all, there's something about utilizing the energies constructively with the Horse King. There's some assistance that may be coming in, as I was saying. And so be open to guidance and advice and possible suggestions this week. Whether it's coming straight down as a download, or whether this is someone that you might look up to, or someone who serves as some type of mentor or guidance for you. Be open to that, Sagittarius, because this assistance is going to help you reach your goal. There may be some things that could use a little bit more of discipline. I'm feeling with control here for the Horse King. I'm getting the energy of all of this power, but not necessarily being channeled in the right way. And so it may be a lot of loss happening because it's not being channeled and utilized in a way that would cause you to use this power most effectively and efficiently, or this energy, right? The Web Weaver, you may be receiving downloads, synchronicities, even divine intelligence coming in. And so it could, in fact, be downloads coming straight from spirit, right? But there's something about you following up on that, because if you do, you will see results. Following up on the advice that you will be giving this week, right? The Web Weaver talks about this ability to weave this large structure, like a web, right? That's going to be very effective, but it's like one line at a time, being able to follow the pattern, possibly a pattern of some kind, following directions, following the lead, following the structure. It's something like that. Following the synchronicities that are being given to you, following them, right? Because if we don't, the way that intuition works is we follow up on it. And the more we follow up on it, the more we see results. That's what I'm getting from spirit here. And so as these synchronicities and these downloads are coming in, make sure that you, however you follow up on them. For some of us, we write them down and then we meditate on them. And however you receive your messaging, spirit is saying receive it and act on it. Okay. The Lady of Lightning, there's some things that will come through here that's going to cause maybe like a sudden change. This Lady of Lightning for me is like the Tower. It's a sudden shock, a sudden change, rapid change, right? There's something about that. So there may be something this week that just all of a sudden pivots, right? You may have been being led one way up till now, and then all of a sudden this week, spirit pivots your movement. Be ready for sudden change, is what spirit is saying. A sudden shift. There may be things that happen that totally shift the whole trajectory of where it is that you're going. Be ready for that. There may be something about what you do, Sagittarius, that just pivots the whole trajectory of what's happening, right? And so there's something here about surprises and shock this week that's going to happen. Be ready for anything, I feel like spirit is saying. And so it's good that you are in this hermit energy, because this provides a lot of stability and just a lot of grounded energy that's going to prepare you to be able to receive these shocks and these pivots, right? As long as you stay connected, you'll be okay. And the Hangman too, right? As long as you stay connected, Saggy, you'll be okay. All right. All right, Sagittarius, that is for you. Thank you so much to my fire signs. It's always a pleasure reading for you. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Make sure you like, share, comment, okay? And I'll see you guys next time. That's for my fire signs. Bye.